The Deception. Commander Elena Reyes stood at the observation deck of Earth Space Station Horizon, watching as the Zorlaxian delegation's sleek vessel disengaged from the docking bay. The purple-hulled ship gleamed in the sunlight, its propulsion system barely disturbing the space around it as it accelerated away. Behind the Zorlaxians, they left what they called a generous offering to humanity's entrance into the Galactic Coalition, a fleet of 12 ancient warships that now floated in Earth's orbit like discarded toys. "Some gift," muttered Lieutenant Commander Jackson Chen, stepping up beside her. "Those ships look like they've been through a meteor shower. Twice." Elena nodded, her expression carefully neutral despite the anger simmering beneath. "They're charging us 80 billion credits for those relics. That's enough to bankrupt 3 continents. And yet the United Earth Council signed anyway," Jackson said. "We had no choice," Elena replied. "Coalition membership requires a self-sufficient defense force. Without these ships, we remain vulnerable and isolated." The ships in question, collectively designated the Sentinel Fleet by Earth's optimistic media, were indeed a sorry sight. Patched hulls, outdated weapon systems, and engines that leaked visible radiation trails, a feature that hadn't been seen in coalition vessels for at least 2 centuries. The Zorlaxians, one of the founding species of the coalition, had presented the sale as an act of benevolence toward the primitive humans who had only just discovered faster-than-light travel. Earth had achieved FTL capability just 5 years ago, joining the interstellar community with enthusiasm and hope. Those hopes had quickly given way to the harsh realities of galactic politics. Earth was resource-rich, but technologically behind, making humans perfect targets for exploitation by older, more established species. "Admiral Patel wants to see you," Jackson said, breaking Elena's contemplation. "Something about a special assignment involving our new fleet." 30 minutes later, Elena stood in Admiral Vera Patel's office deep within the station. The walls were adorned with classical naval maps alongside star charts, a reminder of humanity's evolution from ocean-going vessels to starships. "Commander Reyes," Admiral Patel said without preamble, "what I'm about to share is classified at the highest level." The Admiral activated a holographic display on her desk. It showed the schematic of a small device, barely larger than a coffee mug. "This," she said, "is what we're calling the quantum phase inverter. It's a byproduct of our early FTL research program, the path we abandoned when we discovered the standard coalition approach to faster-than-light travel." Elena leaned closer. "What does it do?" "It partially shifts a vessel out of our dimensional plane. Not enough for full interdimensional travel, but enough to create some very interesting effects. Sensors can't detect a phase-shifted object. Energy weapons pass through it. Physical projectiles miss their true location." Elena's eyes widened. That's revolutionary technology. Why haven't we shared this with the Coalition?" Admiral Patel smiled thinly. "And give up our only advantage. The Zorlaxians and their allies have had a 2,000-year head start on us. They've been selling us outdated technology at premium prices, extracting our resources for a fraction of their worth, and treating us like children. We needed an ace in the hole." She gestured to a different display, showing one of the newly acquired Zorlaxian ships. "The QPI is compact, efficient, and completely unknown to Coalition science. They took a different technological path and never discovered quantum phasing. And now, Commander, I'm assigning you to Operation Silent Vanguard." Elena straightened. "What are my orders, Admiral?" "Take the Defiant, the most structurally sound of our new ships, and a hand-picked crew. You'll be joined by our top engineers and scientists. Your mission is to retrofit the Defiant with our technology while maintaining its decrepit exterior appearance. The Zorlaxians think they've sold us junk. Let's keep them thinking that way while we transform it into something they've never seen before." For the next 6 months, Elena and her crew worked tirelessly in a hidden facility behind Jupiter's moon Europa. From the outside, the Defiant still looked like the rusted warship the Zorlaxians had sold them. Inside was a different story entirely. "We've replaced almost everything," Chief Engineer Dr. Maya Takahashi reported as she led Elena through the ship's engine room. "Propulsion, weapons, life support, shields, all Earth technology now. We've even added a few innovations that weren't in the original plans." "And the quantum phase inverter?" Elena asked. Maya patted a small black device now integrated into the ship's central systems. "Fully operational. We can shift the entire ship partially out of phase with minimal power requirements. We've also developed phase-shifting weapons based on the same principle." "How do they work?" Elena asked, examining the new weapon arrays. "They create a localized phase field around the target, temporarily shifting specific systems out of alignment with the rest of the ship. We can disable weapons, engines, shields, whatever we target, without destroying the vessel." Elena nodded appreciatively. Earth wasn't interested in destruction. They wanted respect. Meanwhile, the situation with the Zorlaxians had deteriorated further. The alien species had established mining operations across Earth's solar system, extracting valuable minerals and paying a fraction of their worth on the galactic market. When Earth's representatives attempted to renegotiate the terms, they were flatly refused. United Earth President Sophia Mbeki called an emergency meeting with her military advisors, including Admiral Patel and Commander Reyes. "The Zorlaxians have deployed 3 Dreadnought-class warships to protect their mining interests in our system," President Mbeki informed them, her voice tight with controlled anger. "Their High Chancellor Krez has demanded increased mining rights and reduced compensation. They've given us 48 hours to comply, or they'll demonstrate their displeasure." Admiral Patel looked to Elena. "Commander, is the Defiant ready?" Elena nodded. "Yes, Admiral. All systems are operational, and the crew is prepared." "Then it's time for Operation Silent Vanguard to commence," the Admiral said. "The Zorlaxians believe we're helpless. They think those rusted warships they sold us are barely functional. They're about to learn how dangerous it is to underestimate humanity." President Mbeki looked uncertain. 1 retrofitted ship against 3 Zorlaxian dreadnoughts. "The risk seems excessive." "With respect, Madam President," Elena said, "the Defiant isn't just retrofitted. It's something entirely new, a ship with capabilities the Zorlaxians can't detect, predict, or defend against. We don't need to destroy their ships to win this confrontation. We just need to show them that humans are not to be trifled with." After a moment of consideration, President Mbeki nodded. "Very well, Commander Reyes. The Defiant is authorized to intercept the Zorlaxian fleet. Show them what humanity is truly capable of." The next morning, as the Zorlaxian fleet moved into position near Earth's moon, a single human ship departed from its hiding place behind Europa. From a distance, it looked pathetic, a rusted, patched vessel with outdated markings and visible wear. Inside, Commander Elena Reyes sat in the captain's chair, her crew at their stations, state-of-the-art systems humming quietly beneath the deliberately maintained facade of decay. "All stations report ready, Commander," said Lieutenant Commander Chen from his position as first officer. Elena nodded, a grim smile playing at her lips. "Set intercept course with the Zorlaxian flagship. Let's introduce ourselves." The Defiant moved through space, its engines deliberately leaking visible energy trails, just as they had when the Zorlaxians sold the ship to Earth. On the bridge of the Zorlaxian flagship Indomitable Might, High Commander Vrak laughed as his sensors detected the approaching human vessel. "They send 1 ship to face us," he said incredulously to his bridge crew. "And not even a proper warship, but one of those ancient vessels we sold them. This is either bravery of the highest order or stupidity beyond measure." His communications officer turned from her console. "The human ship is hailing us, High Commander." "Put them on screen," Vrak ordered, settling back in his command chair. "Let's hear what they have to say before we teach them their place in the galaxy." The revelation. The view screen on the Zorlaxian flagship flickered to life, revealing Commander Elena Rice sitting calmly in what appeared to be a dilapidated bridge. Exposed wiring hung from the ceiling, and half the control panels behind her seemed dark or malfunctioning. Zorlaxian vessel, this is Commander Elena Rice of the Earth ship Defiant, she said formally. You have entered Earth-controlled space without authorization. I request that you withdraw your fleet immediately. High Commander Vrak's triangular pupils dilated with amusement. His gray-scaled skin crinkled around his mouth as he smiled, revealing 3 rows of pointed teeth. Commander Reyes, he replied, your bravery is commendable but misplaced. My 3 dreadnoughts could vaporize your vessel before you could even target your outdated weapon systems. Return to Earth and inform your government that they have 24 hours to accept our terms. Elena's expression remained impassive. I'm afraid I can't do that, High Commander. These are Earth's sovereign territories, and we will defend them. Vrak's amusement turned to irritation. Very well. If humans require a demonstration to understand their position in the galactic hierarchy, I shall provide one. He turned to his weapons officer. Target their propulsion system. Low power. I don't want to destroy them, just disable their ability to flee. Targeting complete, High Commander. The weapons officer responded. Ready to fire. Fire, Vrak ordered confidently. A brilliant beam of energy lanced out from the indomitable might, directly targeting the Defiant's engines. But instead of the expected explosion, the beam passed straight through the human ship as if it weren't there, continuing into empty space before dissipating. Vrak stood up, his amusement completely gone. What happened? Did you miss? No, High Commander, the weapons officer reported, confusion evident in his voice. Direct hit confirmed, but no damage registered. That's impossible. Scan that ship again, Vrak demanded. Full spectrum analysis. The science officer worked frantically at her console. Sir, our scans show. I don't understand. The ship is there, but also not there. It's as if it's partially in another dimensional plane. On the view screen, Commander Reyes smiled for the first time. Allow me to introduce you to human innovation, High Commander. While you were busy selling us your outdated technology, we were developing capabilities you've never seen before. Vrak's scales flattened against his skull, a Zorlaxian expression of alarm. Fire again. Maximum power. Another energy beam shot toward the Defiant, with the same result, passing harmlessly through the ship without causing damage. Now, Elena said calmly, allow me to demonstrate what the Defiant can do. She nodded to Lieutenant Chen. Target their weapon systems. Quantum phase disruption only. From the Defiant, an almost invisible ripple distorted space as it traveled toward the Zorlaxian flagship. When it reached the indomitable might, the effect was immediate and dramatic. Sparks erupted across the dreadnought's weapon arrays, and their power signatures winked out one by one. What have you done? Vrak demanded, his voice rising as warning alarms blared across his bridge. We've temporarily phased your weapons out of alignment with the rest of your ship, Elena explained. They're still there, but they can't interact properly with your power systems. Don't worry, the effect is temporary. Before Vrak could respond, Elena continued, targeting your sister ships now. In quick succession, the Defiant disabled the weapons systems of the remaining 2 Zorlaxian dreadnoughts. The mighty warships, each nearly a kilometer long and bristling with now useless weapon ports, hung helplessly in space. This is an act of war. Vrak snarled, his composure completely gone. The Coalition will. The Coalition will what? Elena interrupted. Learn that you sold outdated, dangerous vessels to a new member species at inflated prices. Discover that you've been systematically exploiting our resources. Find out that you deployed 3 dreadnoughts to threaten a world that's supposedly under Coalition protection. She shook her head. I don't think you'll be reporting this incident to Coalition authorities, High Commander. She leaned forward in her chair. Here's what's going to happen instead. You will withdraw your mining operations from our system immediately. You will renegotiate fair market prices for any Earth resources you wish to purchase in the future, and you will acknowledge Earth as an equal member of the galactic community, not a primitive world to be exploited. And if we refuse? Vrak challenged, though with considerably less confidence than before. Alina's expression hardened. Then we'll be forced to demonstrate more of our technological capabilities. The phase disruption currently affecting your weapons could just as easily be applied to your life support systems or your dimensional drive cores. The choice is yours, High Commander. 3 days later, Commander Reyes stood beside President Mbeki and Admiral Patul as they watched the Zorlaxian mining fleet depart Earth's solar system. Behind them, Earth's United Council applauded. The Zorlaxians have agreed to all our terms, President Mbeki announced. Fair market prices for our resources, technology sharing agreements, and formal recognition of Earth's territorial sovereignty. And the other 11 ships? Admiral Patel asked. Being retrofitted as we speak, Alina confirmed. Within 6 months, Earth will have a fleet that no species in the coalition can detect, engage, or defend against. We should be careful, President Mbeki cautioned. We don't want to replace one form of aggression with another. Alina nodded in agreement. Our goal isn't domination, Madam President. It's respect. For too long, the older species have treated newer arrivals as resources to be exploited rather than partners to be welcomed. We have an opportunity to change that dynamic, not just for humans, but for all developing species in the coalition. Admiral Patel smiled proudly. Commander Reyes, I'm promoting you to captain and giving you command of our new fleet. The Silent Vanguard will serve as both Earth's defense and our statement to the galaxy. Underestimate humanity at your peril. As word spread throughout the coalition about Earth's surprising technological leap, other species began approaching humans differently. The Zorlaxians, embarrassed by their defeat but pragmatic enough to adapt, became reluctant trading partners. Other younger species, inspired by Earth's stand against exploitation, sought alliances. 6 months later, Captain Reyes stood on the bridge of the Defiant, now the flagship of Earth's transformed fleet. The ships still maintained their decrepit exterior appearance, a deliberate reminder to all who saw them of the danger of judging by appearances. Captain, Lieutenant Commander Chen called from his station. We're receiving a distress call from the Neorians. Their colony world is under attack by coalition pirates. The Neorians were a newly spacefaring species, just beginning to establish their first off-world colonies. Like humans not long ago, they were vulnerable to exploitation. Set course to intercept, Alina ordered without hesitation. The Silent Vanguard has a duty not just to Earth, but to all those who faced the same challenges we did. As the Defiant and 2 companion ships jumped to FTL, Alina reflected on how quickly things had changed. 6 months ago, humanity had been at the mercy of older, more technologically advanced species. Now they were defending others against similar treatment. The Zorlaxians had thought they were selling Earth-useless junk. Instead, they had provided the perfect disguise for a technological revolution. Sometimes, Alina mused, the greatest advantage came not from superior strength, but from being underestimated. As the stars streaked by the viewports, she smiled. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not through domination or submission, but through innovation and determination, qualities that had defined the human spirit since they first looked up at the stars and dreamed of reaching them. The Silent Vanguard would ensure that dream endured, not just for Earth, but for all who sought their rightful place among the stars.